Hello, everybody. I'm Mark.
And I'm Rob.
And welcome to Mark and Rob's Sports Showdown, one of the hottest and best sports talk shows in the universe. And we say that because we allow Martians to watch our show because we don't care about skin color. We like green people. Anyways, Rob, we need more subscribers. Hit that subscribe button, please. And the notification bell at the same time. You get notified of our next videos. If you like this video, hit the like button. And of course, continue to make intelligent, non-insulting comments and join our live show, which is growing fast, Eastern time, 7 to 8. And you can call in or you can actually make comments and for discussion topics. Rob, so some background information for you. Geno Auriemma is the coach of UConn, and he's been there for a long time. I don't know how many years. I didn't look it up, but I know he's got 11 championships. And 4 years ago, he always gets the number one recruits, it seems like. He recruited Paige Bueckers because she was the number one recruit for the high school girls coming out. At the time, Caitlin Clark, you may have heard of her. She was number 4 of the recruits. They're both considered point guards. And Geno recruited Paige, obviously, first because she's number 1. And he decided, well, I don't need 2 freshman point guards. You know, maybe if one was a freshman, one was a junior, senior, maybe that would work out. So he decided not to recruit Caitlin Clark, and Caitlin Clark actually did want to be recruited by UConn. Whether she would go there or not, I don't know, but she said she wanted to be recruited by them. So she was thinking of going to Notre Dame. She ended up going to Iowa. Paige Bueckers was Player of the Year, freshman year, and first team All-American. Caitlin Clark was only second team All-American, so top 10. Sophomore year, they were both sophomore year, Caitlin Clark was first team All-American, and Paige wasn't anything because she only played half a season because she hurt her knee. And her third year, in the offseason, she blew out her ACL, so she didn't play her third year. When Clark was playing her junior year, she became Player of the Year, and she made big leaps from her freshman year, and she was obviously first team All-American and went to the national finals. And then the next year, Caitlin Clark went to the national finals again, was Player of the Year again, and became even better player than she was her junior year. And Paige was probably the second best player in the country last year. You could argue about that. Certainly the second best guard. I think she was better than Juju Watkins. And she made first team All-American. And I don't know if she got any votes in the Player of the Year, but she didn't get any in the AP voting because those votes I was able to get a hold of. Only person that didn't get a vote was Cameron Brink. Caitlin Clark got 34 out of 35 votes. And that person that voted for Cameron Brink should not be allowed to vote next year.
Yes.
Okay. So anyways, during those 4 years, even though there was only like 2 times they played in the NCAA tournament, UConn didn't do anything. They lost they didn't make it to the finals. They lost in the semifinals at Final Four against Iowa, Caitlin Clark. And I think they lost in the round of 8 or round of 16 Paige's freshman year. So they didn't do anything. The other year she was injured. I'm not blaming Paige for any of that. But be that as may, they won no championships during that 4-year period. Now Paige is coming back. They got a nice stacked team. They had 5 injuries last year. They got the number 1 recruit or the number 2 recruit coming out of the country. They're going to be great. They have a great chance at a championship with Paige. And she'll probably be Player of the Year unless Juju Watkins is. But the point is, did Geno make a mistake by not recruiting Caitlin Clark also? Not in place of, because obviously you're going to recruit the number 1 recruit. And if so, what would you do to try to take care of the roster and the playing time and the positions because they're both point guards?
Well, that's pretty easy. I mean, he definitely made a mistake not picking her. I mean, who wouldn't want? I mean, I'm sure he won't mention it, but I'm sure he's regretting that he did not recruit Clark.
It just makes sense. 1 second. So he has not said he regrets it. He just explained why he didn't, and which is the reason I just gave you. But go ahead. Sorry.
Well, okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, he's not regretting, but I think
he said he's regretted it. He's not saying I'm agreeing with it. I'm just saying we don't know whether he regrets it or not because he hasn't said it one way or another. He just explained why he didn't do it. Go ahead. Sorry.
Right. We can't put words in his mouth what he would say. But yeah, but it would be very easy. You know, you have Paige at the point guard, and who else would be the best shooting guard would be Caitlin. would be a shooting guard, or you could actually just rotate them. I mean, you have. I mean, like nowadays, there's no specific where like back in the day, like Mark, you're point guard, Rob, you're forward, and that's it. Now everybody wrote. I mean, you got people bringing the ball up the court who are 6'11", 6'9". Magic started that, so it's not really a specific label on putting what a person should be and where they should play. So it wouldn't be any problem.
Really? Okay. No, I think it'd be a little bit of a problem. I'm not saying it's not workable, because they both pass real well. Paige is not as good a passer as Caitlin, but she has fewer turnovers, so in that way she's a better passer. But she's not as risky a passer, and she's not as good on the fast break. And Paige has a mid-range game that's better than Clark's. So I think you could switch them back and forth, because you certainly don't want to just make Clark a shooting guard when she's the best passer I've ever seen.
Do you think that if Paige was on that Connecticut team, that her motion, I criticize her about not passing the ball and maybe a little more movement. Would that maybe, because Paige is such a good passer, would that maybe would have made her more of a movement, or with the coach Geno have her pass it and move more through the keys and around the basket if she was on that team?
I'm not sure. I know one thing is that Caitlin Clark wouldn't have got the free reign that she got at Iowa with Geno. That I'm 100% sure about that. I heard he's very fundamental and strict about that, and he doesn't go for players that have stats like that. Donna Taurasi's stats were way smaller than Caitlin Clark's, and also Brandon Stewart's stats were smaller than Caitlin Clark's. So I know that. I'm not sure the answer to your question that you asked. I'm not sure what she's going to do. I know that is one thing I know about Geno. But I think it would. I don't think it'd be as easy as you think. Like I said, it's workable.
Because Iowa. Caitlin was the main passer on Iowa. I didn't see most of the games. You saw most of the games. When Caitlin wasn't in the game or with most of the passing, she did most of the really nice passes. Was there another guard at Iowa that was not? I'm not saying comparable to Paige, but was kind of average. No. Okay.
No, they had Kate Martin, but she wasn't a passer like Paige.
So I'm just thinking that with a great passer like Paige is and player, I think that might have opened up her game a little bit more. Though Geno is tight with that, but I think it would have gotten her to be a little more used to moving around on offense better.
Yeah, people can adjust. Jerry West was shooting guard and a point guard. When Gail Goodrich came around in the Lakers, who's basically a shooting guard, he just adjusted and played more of a point guard.
And a left-hander.
What? A left-hander?
Yes, Gail Goodrich.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that. He's left-hander. Left-handers are great. Any left-handers out there? Rob thinks that they're a bunch of ball hogs and pumps, but I don't know if that's true or not.
I'm sticking to that. I am sticking to it.
I think Rob just made that fact up. I didn't find that on the internet at all.
No, you have to play basketball. You'll see.
Let me know if you think Rob is full of crap again down below. So far, it's been like 100 times they say Rob is just full of it. I've seen the comments.
Hey, wait a minute. I wrote down in my diary I was right a couple of times this week. So there.
So anyways, I think, who knows? Maybe Paige wouldn't have got hurt. Because everything would have been her whole lifestyle. Her whole life would have been different, but she did get hurt. But I think in those 4 years, let's say Paige was healthy, they could have won a lot of championships.
Oh yeah,
with those two.
Yeah.
Even without Paige being healthy, maybe they would have won.
It reminds me, to do a football analogy, it reminds me when Jim Brown, then the Browns drafted Ernie Davis from Syracuse. Can you imagine that backfield?
Right.
They could have ran opposite either day. I thought Davis was better than Brown.
So just so you know, Ernie Davis had very comparable statistics at Syracuse University at Jim Brown. And Jim Brown was the best runner in football. And they drafted Ernie Davis, and then before he actually could play in the NFL, he got leukemia and died. They made a movie about that called The Express. But anyways, that was unfortunate. But I think that, it could have been a great backcourt. And even if Paige was injured, say, for instance, I think with the stacked teams that Connecticut sometimes have, if Caitlin Clark could drag that Iowa team to the finals 2 years in a row, couldn't she have won a championship even without Paige on maybe some of those teams? I think
Oh
so.
yeah. Oh yeah.
So
I think so.
I think Geno made a mistake. He'll probably never admit it. And by the way, Geno made a comment about that this draft class is not even one of the best ones in the top in this decade. Now there's one UConn player in the top 10, right? That was Aaliyah Edwards.
Right.
But she went like 6th, I think. She might have gone 5th. But if there was a bunch of UConn players in the top 10 instead of just one, and maybe a UConn player went number 1, do you really think he would say that? Because I'm not convinced this is not one of the top drafts of this decade. I don't know it as well as some other people do, because I didn't pay that close attention to women's college basketball and WNBA. But I don't think he's looking very right about that right now.
Yeah. I mean, he started coaching in 1985, so he's been around for a long time.
Yeah, but he's biased towards his own players, Rob.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Of course.
Anytime a UConn player goes number 1, this is one of the. They could be one of the, or let's say a couple of them go in the top 10, which has happened before. He's going to say, "Well, that's a great draft. Look at all those UConn players." I don't buy it. I don't buy that this is a below average draft. He didn't sound like it was a below average draft. Like that people are just saying that because it's getting a lot of publicity. I don't know. Cameron Brinks, until she hurt her knee, could have been a really good player this year. Rakia Jackson, Aaliyah Edwards.
Aaliyah Edwards.
Obviously.
Angel Reese, your buddy, Angel Reese.
Camila Cardoza. It looks like she's going to be a really good player when she develops a little bit more skills. She's got great size. So I'm not convinced it's not going to be a draft, or at least a good draft. It's certainly not going to be a below average draft. Mm-hmm. I'm sure part of the publicity is not going to live up to the hype, maybe, but that doesn't mean it's not a good draft. I think Geno's being biased towards Connecticut players. That's just my theory. I could be wrong. And I think he regrets it, but it's not going to admit it, because what he did made some sense. You don't want 2 point guards, but he had other talent too that he was improving that year too. So
we don't know. I mean, and maybe it's for the, like I said, it turned out to be for the better, actually, for Caitlin, because she got more exposure, and then she got to really show what she can do. So, I mean,
I don't think she'd be the player she is right now, and she wouldn't be as popular as she is right now, because there's no way that he would give her the free reign that she had there. And she wouldn't have to carry the team as much, so she wouldn't have as many scores and assists and all that stuff. But she probably would have won a championship, and she'd be viewed as a better player than she is right now, just because she won a championship, because people are championship happy. You got to win a chip, And I'm going to cover that in another video. You don't have to win a chip in college to be the greatest player of all time, but it helps. I'm not saying it's not a factor. You don't have to be, though. Anyways, we'll cover that in another video. Anyways, that's our video today. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Let us know what you think about that topic in the comments down below. It's an interesting theory. And when you hit the subscribe button, by the way, hit the notification bell. If you like this video, like the video. Eastern Time, 7 to 8 is our live show. You can call in, or you can make comments scroll along the side there. And until then, I will see you in the next video.
Peace out.